when I see this, what am I supposed to feel? Am I supposed to feel bad for the girl? I don't think I am. That's a problem. Am I supposed to feel disgust? Am I supposed to feel... I'm not sure. And what I'm thinking is, I don't think the artist knows either. I'd like for us to sit down in front of this artwork, in front of like this one, and you tell me what went through your head at that time. Were you just horny? That's fine if you were just horny, but I might not care that much. And because you haven't communicated like what's behind these artworks, and it's not that clear, to me it just falls flat. For me. No! 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 So a week or two ago, I asked on Instagram and on Discord to send in, and on YouTube, to send in your art for review. Now, for a while, I've been asked to review art by viewers of mine, and I've always refused because, well, I thought I would hate it. And I didn't want to hurt any feelings, and I didn't want to discourage people from making art. That being said, I was like, hey, you know what? What if I can be harsh, but we do it on stream, so we turn it into a spectacle, so it can be fine. And like people, when they send their art, they know that it's going to be for a show, and they know that I'm probably going to hate it. So we can both have this mutual agreement that this is fine to do. So a bunch of you have sent your art on Instagram and on Discord, and I'm going to review it. But first, before reviewing it, because as this is the first episode of me reviewing your art, who am I to review art? Well, I'm not even an artist, so maybe I'm not the best person to review your art in terms of, I don't know, technical sides, or I don't even know what else can an artist review. Technical sides or like industry sides. I'm not the best person to tell you how to sell your art or how to market it or whatever. But what I can do is engage with your art, because that's what I've been doing for the past couple of years. I've been making videos on art, I've been reading on art, I've been writing on art for a very, very long time. And I'm of the opinion that there are many ways of looking at art. The first one would be maybe looking at art and scrolling on Instagram, right? And you scroll through art. And sometimes I do that in museums as well. Like I walk and love artworks I don't care about, and I just pass through. So I scroll through artworks. A second way could be to actually stop at an artwork and look at it and enjoy it and then move on, or share it with friends on Instagram. And a third way of looking at art is to actually engage with it, right? Try to understand why you like it, why you don't like it, and discuss it with people. And it's that third way of engaging with art that I want to do with your art, and that kind of discussion I want to have with chat. Chat's right here. Chat can say hello to YouTube. Say hello to YouTube, chat. So I'm gonna have this discussion with chat, trying to understand why I like your art, why I don't like it, and perhaps try to understand not only why your art works or doesn't work for me, but also try to understand through that discussion what we like about art in general. So I think that's what's great about having these discussions. It's not just specific to the art, but just it can help us understand some things about ourselves. So if you want to submit your art, you can check out my Discord channel. There is the link in the description, and my Instagram page. I think it's the Canvas YouTube on Instagram. Probably also in the description. If it's not, I'll put it in. One thing I forgot to say, to send in your art, please include a description of yourself, who you are, where you're from, how long you've been doing art for, do you study in art, or whatever you want. It's really up to you. Secondly, I want an artist statement. I want you to explain why you do art. And please don't just say, oh, because I love to express myself or whatever. I want some substance. I want to know why you're sharing something with me. Are you sharing like artworks just because they're cool, or because you have something to tell me? You have something to tell the world. That's what I'm looking for. And finally, I'm looking for like 1 to maximum 12 artworks. You can send one artwork alone. So far, people have been sending me a lot of artworks, so that's fun because it can help me go through whichever ones I prefer. And if you want, you could put it your socials so that people can check you out. All right, now we can go look at the video. Look at the video. Look at the artworks. So, Alex de Rouen. Alex de Rouen They Them is a two-spirit neo-Dadaist artist, poet, storyteller, and awarded water protector. Alex comes from the Osage, Otoe, Pawnee, Blackfeet, and Lowe tribes, and is an active member of the, I'm sorry, I cannot read this, district, and head right holder for the Osage Minerals Estate. Their work explores intersections of marginalized communities, notably through their work with Tulsa Two-Spirit, Kinship Model, and Words of the People. They are the pioneer of land Dadaism, an art movement that utilizes a unique cross-pollination of indigequeer ecology and the art of Dadaists' collage principles as metaphor, to become a visual rebellion that questions, recontextualizes, or operates outside of heteronormative and conventional standards, to merge their art making with their interpersonal resistance and reclamation of two-spirit joy in all their affairs. So we have their Instagram right here, House of Landada, but these are the artworks that they sent me. So we're going to go look, hopefully these work. So we got here this work right here. I do like this. We spoke the land, and then we can't read the couple next lines because there's a face in front of it. I see the collage with the Dada take, especially like an indigenous twist on Dadaism. I think Dadaism was always a revolutionary resistance movement, one that was kind of anti-art in the convention, like the conventions that art espoused. And in this case, maybe there is the idea very often in indigenous art of like kind of subverting conventions of Western art, or at least questioning them, the same way Dadaism did. And here we have, of course, like the connection to the land, which is spoken about in the poem. It's not bad. Here we have the queer lives are grown here. Says medium beeswax on wooden canvas and shit again. By my queer community and indigenous elders who stood before me to fight for this privilege to practice love in all my affairs. So that's what this piece of art is about. Okay, this is a lot to read, but this one to me works a little less. I understand the juxtaposition, but here the juxtaposition for me doesn't feel super complete. I feel like it could be explored in ways that would be a bit more fruitful, for sure. This empire was built on a duality of promising a new vision for some, while systematically dispossessing indigenous populations from their cultures to fulfill that vision. So this piece reminds all of us that this is an ongoing spiritual journey. So this is a state, right? In the United States. I don't know. What state is this? Maine? Is this Minnesota? Is this the state within the state? I don't know. It looks like a cookie. One review, like one actual like feedback, is I feel like this is very, like the way it's written is very poetic and all that, but it's the poetry of it really stands in the way of a proper understanding. This is like written very poetically, but not very straightforwardly. It's Oklahoma, says Pyroanarchist. You know what? I don't believe you, Pyroanarchist. The Panhandle State? Okay, now that you said the Panhandle State, now I kind of believe you. But yeah, so I feel like the way it's written makes it a bit more elusive, and maybe that's what you want, and maybe that's fine. But I think it could be a bit more clear what the intentions are and why you're doing this. The pastiche of John Heartfield, Our Beloved. In a time when our youth, our queer siblings, are being targeted by a rising tide of Christo-fascism, I find solace and strength in the legacies of those who came before us, abolitionists, activists, and allies who sacrificed everything for justice. I think of Sylvia Rivera, whose life and death echo the marginalized within our own communities. I think of Marsha P. Johnson, a beacon of resilience in the face of unimaginable cruelty. I think of Tortuguita, a young spirit extinguished too soon in the fight for a just world. Then closer to home, I think of Next Benedict, a Choctaw non-binary youth whose life was stolen for simply being themselves. I come from a long line of veterans who fought against the evils of Nazism and have instilled in me a deep-rooted sense of resistance. Their flags, symbols of freedom and justice, inspire me to stand against the new faces of oppression. So today I stand with my head held high, my spirit adorned in the colors of my Osage heritage, my face a canvas of Oklahoma's greed, masked by the bills that seek to erase us. This is Landada, a fusion of history and defiance. I'm not afraid, so who's afraid of two-spirit people? We are the seeds that will rise from the ashes of oppression. We are the inheritors of a legacy of courage, and we will not be silenced. One thing about it is that the original artwork right here is a criticism of two periodicals, two journals in Germany who were liberal journals, or they were progressive journals, but ones that didn't necessarily fight against fascism in the same way that communists did, for example. And what's the name of this artwork again? They call it Blind and Deaf, but whoever reads bourgeois newspapers becomes blind and deaf. There you go. It has something about leaves. That for sure I remember. Oh yeah, cabbage head. I am a cabbage head. Recognize my leaves. Sorrows make me lose my mind, but I'll stay quiet and hope for a savior. I want to be a cabbage head, black, red, and gold. Don't want to see or hear, stay clear of politics, and even if they strip me naked, the red press won't come in my house. So basically, he is parodying, John Heartfield is parodying a cabbage head who is blinded by the periodicals, this one and this one. So they're blinded by the periodicals that are kind of trying to make them ignorant, which can work here, but because this is a self-portrait, if it's read very first degree, you are the cabbage head of John Heartfield in a way, which is obviously not what you want to be depicted as. However, in the description, you do talk about how you're tried to keep like they're trying to keep you masked by the bills that seek to erase us. So there's, to them it was like to John Heartfield it was like a blinding thing, and to you it's more like they're trying to, but you're still adorning some cultural, some traditional garments. You're still posing for the video, for the picture, even though someone is, trying to erase you with their bills that they put you over your face. So there's also a way to take this imagery and reappropriate it in a way. But because of this reappropriation, I think makes your artwork even stronger in this case. The reappropriation and the reinterpretation of what it used to be and how you're using it today, and not only in the themes of blinding slash resisting the attempts at blinding you, but also both are answers or responses to fascism. So there is a thematic link between both artworks, and also Heartfield was a Dadaist. And you claim to be Neo-Dada. So that works. So this is a very strong one. That's why I like it so much. The next one is a ready-made. For those of you who don't know what a ready-made is, Marcel Duchamp did some ready-mades, basically just taking objects, sometimes putting them together, sometimes not even. For example, the bike wheel was put together, but the urinal wasn't, the shovel, and recontextualizing them, putting them in a museum or in a gallery space and saying this is art. So here, Landata ready-made. What is Landata? Well, it is both everything and nothing. It is a collage of all my pieces, which makes me whole. The indigenous land-backed principles with what little Osage linguistics I have, and Dadaist iconoclasm. Dada was characterized by its emphasis on no meaning and nonsense, with this being another example of that. A ready-made. It is just an object that's been taken from everyday life that is now declared an avant-garde pieces of art. This is the opposite of creating a generative AI image, and that's why it's revolutionary. As well as being a metonymy for struggles like data sovereignty and indigenous survival as a whole. I found this piece of data sovereignty that contains notes on the Osage language today at an estate sale. The art in that was too profound not to make it a piece. This is kind of cool. And presenting it as an artwork again, as a ready-made. This works for me. This works for me. And not only have you used this object as like a found object and presented it as art, which speaks to, as you say, data sovereignty, but also notes on the Osage language. I don't know if it already had Osage language in it. Is that what you said? I found this piece of data sovereignty that contains notes on the Osage language today at an estate sale. If you did, that's even stronger. And not only do I love that this is kind of a way to preserve Osage language and data sovereignty, as you say, but you also included yourself in there. Or no, have you not? And what is pronounced Dada in Osage? If it does, that's even cooler. And I find it even cooler that you've pointed it out to the viewers on Instagram. Okay, this one, along with this one are definitely my favorite. Art by Alexandre particularly likes this one. Yeah. What about this one? Okay, we got a sculpture. I think this is the first sculpture we've seen. Shouting out people. The Bear Heart delves into the Oteo creation story, specifically the Bear Clan's transformative journey from ego-driven isolation to profound unity. This sculpture serves as a powerful metaphor for the vital process of re-indigenizing Nebraska, embodying a call for both indigenous and non-indigenous communities to embrace radical vulnerability and humility. Through its form, it underscores the critical need for an honest reckoning with the white gaze, and the pervasive influence of racialized settler colonial capitalism. The artwork champions well-variety, and illustrating that true healing and reconciliation emerge when collective humility replaces rugged individualism, allowing for shared growth and the creation of a healing forest, grounded in interbeing. It is a testament to the journey towards collective well-being, where a bare heart leads to shared liberation. Less for me, honestly. I really like the story, and like the mythology behind the artwork. I just don't know how much the artwork conveys this in a way that's compelling to me. Yeah, Alexandre says, I think the message here is stronger than the artwork. And I want both, right? I want a strong message. Without a strong message, I don't like an artwork. But I want the artwork to reflect the artwork to strongly reflect a strong message. I know I'm asking for a lot, but hey, there's a lot of artworks out there. We've got a door. Okay. So here it's the door. So it's not what's next to it. It's just the door. And let me tell you right now, I love artworks that are doors. It's a soft spot for me. Door art, whew, it goes hard. I actually do like okay. So here we have another ready-made. I mean, would it be called a ready-made if you did the art on it? Maybe you did do the art on it. Let's see. Back when I painted a door with black chalk paint to transforms a ready-made into an ever-evolving poem that becomes a vibrant act of reclaiming cultural identity and self-expression within a non-native space. This doorway was a space specifically reserved for the Osage viewers to leave their mark in their own way. It represents the concept of our inherent right of to self-determination and the power we hold to shape our language and traditions, so that as people stood before the ever-evolving doorway, they could observe the dynamic interplay of symbols, patterns, and stories contributed by the Osage people. Each mark reflected a personal interpretation of this word, mark, meaning marking, and art. These markings collectively tell a story of a resilient language and a thriving culture. Then, for our non-Osage visitors, I invite them to experience the beauty of this collaborative artwork through a lens of appreciation. By witnessing the creative process, they became part of a silent dialogue honoring the artistic sovereignty of the Osage people. So now that I finally posted this ish, together we can celebrate the enduring spirit of marking and the ongoing process of reclaiming and revitalizing indigenous cultures in the modern day to remind ourselves that this work continues on every day. I also really like this. Yeah, Lavian Jesus says, I love a piece that's put together by a crowd. Yeah, I also really like this. And you can tell that some things were added from one to the other. Nothing was taken out though. Okay, good. Nothing was taken out, not from what I can see. That's really cool. I like it. It also speaks to the whole idea of like community bonding, community creation rather than individualism. We get to see different. I imagine every single color comes from a different person, someone who's Osage. I really like the idea. Maybe it's like to some it would be reverse racism or whatever. What do you mean I can't draw on this as a white person? And the idea of inviting people who are not Osage, non-Osage visitors, to experience this beauty through the lens of appreciation rather than like appropriation or like trying to go like, why can't I draw on this? I really like the idea that it's a doorway that's appropriated by in a space by people who are Osage and who can share whatever they have to say, and people can watch, can look. I really like it. And one thing I would like to see this in is in a place where there are no Osage people. If you go, I don't know, to Montreal, this is where I live, or to any place where there's no Osage people, and show it off and write, you know, this is for like write in the description. You can write on it if you are Osage or have Osage heritage, which could confront the viewer with the fact that, okay, yeah, that's true. There's no Osage here, and take in the breadth of different identities throughout the world and say, okay, we connect with only like a fragment of the different identities in the world. So yeah, so these, this one, and this one by far my favorite, and they're good. I really like them. We can check out their Instagram. Got some Basquiat stuff here. I like the Degenerate Savage. I kind of like this. I like this more than others that you submitted. There is like a joke of Basquiat copies, right? Yeah, Latvian Jesus in chat says they love that. This one right here, The Land Back, I love too. I really like these doodle like, oh wait, we have some anti-cop thing. Oh Jesus, we love anti-cop shit. Okay, we were all wounded. Wounded. A res cop at Wounded Knee, you and me, by tribal police. Hell yeah. Reason wounded. Ugh. ACAB. Hell yeah, you should have sent this, Alex. ACAB, this is for the goon squads of the modern day as a friendly reminder that the Wounded Knee standoff of 1973. I didn't know the Wounded Knee standoff of 1973. Tell us more about it. Was a 71-day event beginning on February 27th and ending with a surrender on May 8th. So that was a long time, 1973, making it one of the longest civil disorders in U.S. history and bringing major attention to Native American rights. The occupation was a violent internal dispute involving tribal police, federal law enforcement, AIM, activists, and residents. Sometimes sovereignty comes from organized disobedience to enact justice against a failing system, making tribal police an interesting case study in how tribal values and state values often conflict. Which means to me, like a bull in the ring, tribal police's one job is policing the red man, not the government that has historically and continuously attacked our sovereignty. Ooh, interesting. And to call back to the Basquiat thing that you did here, I am a YouTuber after all. I made a video on Basquiat and on black cops and how black cops police black people with Pulitzer Prize winning Professor James Foreman Jr. in the video. Go check it out. I think it's called Basquiat on Black Cops or something. Fountain. I like this one too. Okay, your art, a lot of these, I really like them more than like this and this. Just at this. Well, that's fine because I've seen this. I've seen them. All right. Well, if you like this, look, this is a door. Watermelon. I wonder what this could mean. If you're interested in seeing more, go follow this person on Instagram, House of Land Data. I recommend. All right. Off to a great start. Duchamp mention. Let's go. All right, Alex de Rouen, thank you so much for sending your stuff. We're going to look at Ben Law. Why? Because it's the next on the list. Okay, we got some more Instagram posts. Hello, Sean. I just saw your recent post asking for art to review. Truthfully, I find it refreshing to have someone who may actually not enjoy my art. Many of the people in my day-to-day life, friends, family, coworkers, random strangers, etc., find my work to be rather good, usually devoid of any and all criticism. All right, let's tear into Ben Law. While I do enjoy their praise, I do desire criticism to either affirm the things I know I'm working on, or at the very least, a different perspective to just blind praise. So a little about me. I'm a 26-year-old artist from Grand Rapids, Michigan, born and raised in Hickory Corners, Michigan mainly. With some time spent in the Southwest in Phoenix during my early formative years, I mainly paint a mix of Expressionism and Impressionism, with a few different of my own styles wrapped into one. I work pretty strictly mixed media, usually using pencil, pen, ink, oil pastels, acrylic paint, chalk pastel, charcoal, etc., to develop a layered image that can vary from focused to a wandering of the mind. I'm mainly influenced historically by Picasso and Munch, Art Nouveau, and data photography, along with modern artists like Naji Shalhoub and Daisei Terrasono. I'm mainly self-taught and follow the philosophy laid out by Impressionism, Van Gogh, and the like, to finish a most of work in one sitting to capture the moment of emotion and thought the best I can. Personally, my art is inspired by my internal monologue and aesthetic subconscious, historically struggling with depression and apathy. The modern works of mine usually are more philosophy-based approach on my current mindset with the backdrop of modern issues as they push and pull on the very same apathy. I have painted/drawn my entire life. I will continue to do so and hopefully get better at my tools and space increase. And will allow me to stretch into other mediums and develop a broader palette of themes and method. Thanks for taking a look and have a good one. All right, thank you so much for sending in your art, Ben Law. We're going to go check it out. First of all, here, the reason why you do art kind of makes me a bit worried, just as a criticism, because I feel like when I'm looking for art, I'm looking for someone to have something to say, and I'm not too sure from what you've written what you do have to say. And maybe, you know, like here, personally, my art is inspired by my internal monologue and aesthetic subconscious, which is fine. But if that's what your angle here, please communicate why I should care about your internal monologue and aesthetic subconscious. Because most people have internal monologues and aesthetic subconscious. Like you're not standing out. So what is that internal monologue and aesthetic subconsciousness saying? Historically struggling with depression and apathy. How do I say this without necessarily invalidating it? Because my goal is not to invalidate it, but a lot of us are depressed and apathetic. It's not to invalidate you. I'm just saying, if you say I do art to express my depression and apathy, artists are depressed. Not all artists, but most artists are fucking depressed. You know, I'm depressed. You're depressed. We're all depressed. So again, what's your angle that's going to make you stand out? What makes me want to look at Ben Law, because so far you're just another depressed artist? I'm not saying this because I think you should, like, I'm not saying this because like you need to stand out to like in the market and all that, but I think you just need to stand out for me to care about it. Hold on, right here, Senpunk says, no, all artists are depressed. It's the law. It's the law. The world is fucked. If you're not depressed, something's wrong with you. If you're not depressed, don't be an artist. Be an accountant. Then you're going to be depressed. Eco-Friendly says, what do you think about therapeutic art then? Therapeutic art is fine. It's for you, you know? It's like, what do you want me to say about it? Like someone says like, look, this drawing made me feel good. Okay. Or this drawing allowed me to see that I have daddy issues. Okay. I'm looking to like dig deeper into that feeling and communicate something from that feeling to me. Don't just illustrate the feeling, try to communicate it, make me feel something in return. Wait, you think I'm just like an empath or something, that you're going to say like, I'm sad, I'm just going to get sad from that? No. I'm already sad enough as I am. I don't need someone else to make But yeah, therapeutic art is fine. So let's look at, maybe it's going to be good, but this is my not my understanding, but my angle on this. If you're apathetic and depressed, it comes from somewhere, and maybe you haven't figured out where that's from. But if you do figure it out, and that's what you're painting about, say that in your, like, communicate it to me. Say, I'm sad because of, I don't fucking know, climate change. the rise of fascism, or all of the above. Eco-Friendly says, I'm not talking about depression specifically, but I saw a lot of schizophrenic or cognitively impaired people having art therapy sessions, and the results were interesting. I find the appreciation of schizophrenic art and artists a bit extractive. It gives a bit like freak show. I don't know if that's problematic to say, but like when I see like videos, I've never done videos on that. I did one video on outsider art where the person was probably neurodivergent, and many artists are neurodivergent. But when the whole idea that this artist is a tormented schizophrenic artist, look at his art, it feels a bit extractive and a bit problematic. And you get that shit on online a lot. Look at this crazy guy making art. Isn't that crazy art from a crazy guy? So here we have when you stare into the abyss, what stares back? The machine of progress. We see the Picasso influence. Will you forget? Questions of life only due to death. Better angels, but you don't pray. Push back on the darkness in which you damn well like to play. Now you find yourself in the same boat again, going out alone on this ocean, not if, but when. Too high to fly, too low to touch ground. Doctor my eyes, they cannot see the sky. The pressure was sleeping, a steady familiar feeling. Foggy skies and burning trees stood behind the bark of my endless days. As I looked to the sky and asked why, the wind answered in a familiar sigh. However long this life may seem, the dust and dirt will always remain. Sometimes I think it's a shame when I get feeling better when I'm feeling no pain. Self-assured, it's another week. The thought one time, this one time, that is enough. Sold! Congrats on selling! And burned bark of watcher's beauty sifted through dirt of the boot. Okay, first and foremost, I'm no poetry enjoyer, so I can't comment on the poetry. If I do, it would just be like, okay, I don't get this. Not that I don't get it, I just have a hard time enjoying it. So I will say a lot of the aesthetics of these I enjoy, I really like. But aesthetics is not what I'm looking for when I look at art. Because aesthetics can be found everywhere and anywhere. So we can start. I don't know what to say about that. I don't think there's much I can say because I don't think it says much. Don Quixote, is that how you say it? Picasso, but I don't know what to say about this either. It's a take on Don Quixote. It's not ugly. Same here. Feels a bit. Look, it looks a bit like the one I have there. It looks cool with the red dot. But what do you want me to say about this? Same here. A lot of these, it feels like they come from a place of like you said, depression and apathy. But I don't know what to say out of it, and I don't know what to think and how to appreciate those aside from wow, the artist is really tormented, which is it's okay. Here, I do like this a bit more. It makes me think of Asger Jorn's Ugly Duckling. One of my favorite artworks. All my homies love the Ugly Duckling. Don't we? Don't we, homies in chat? We love the Ugly Duckling. What I love about it is the sort of irreverence of painting something really, really ugly on top of like a very kitsch artwork in the back. A kind of Live in Jesus says, fuck your realism. And it kind of feels like that, right? This confrontation of going, okay, this decorative artwork that doesn't mean anything, whatever, I'm going to fuck with it. I'm going to paint something super ugly, subvert the artwork. And I feel like that's what you did a bit here. Bon, it's probably, I'm not sure actually. Here it says Snodgrass plus U. Is that it? Is that plus U? Yeah, it is plus you. I don't know who Snodgrass is. I don't know if it's a friend. What I'm going to choose to believe is that this is an artwork that you found at a thrift store made by Snodgrass, and you were like, fuck it, I will insert myself in there with this artwork. Perhaps a self-portrait of me being angry or me being sad and depressed with my head blown open in a beautiful landscape. And here I feel like there's something being a bit set, something being developed a little more, right? I'm hoping Snodgrass is not your friend. I mean, it could be. I'm hoping you found this in a thrift store and you were like, these fucking artworks that just show like beautiful landscapes and that try to cheer me up, and they try to show that the world is beautiful. I'm depressed. I'm apathetic. Fuck this. I'm buying this artwork, or I'm stealing it from from Goodwill, and I am placing myself in the front of the artwork, a bit like Edward Munch, The Scream, and I'm subverting this beautiful landscape that's trying to make me happy by putting myself angry and sad and angsty and appropriating this scene for myself. And I like that it's framed too. So that's another thing that makes me think it's like taken at a Goodwill or whatever. So because of it, this is my favorite. This is my favorite. I kind of like it for that reason. Maybe I'm looking too much into it. Maybe I'm seeing the ugly duckling in it a bit too much. This one, again, aesthetically pleasing, but there might be like meaning behind the dog with the flower pot on its head. Who knows? But it's not being communicated. So how the fuck am I supposed to appreciate this? Like, it's cute. The yellow background, the yellow flower contrasting against the black background. It's cute. It's nice. It's beautiful. But I don't know what to make of it. This one sold. Congrats. Yeah, we love sad clowns. But I don't know. Again, I don't know what to make of this. The sad clown. This one I don't like either. I don't know what to make of it. It's a nice portrait. I'm not a big fan of portraiture either. If it's a portraiture that, again, isn't conceptual, doesn't have a concept behind. And here it's a nice portrait, and I can appreciate it for its pictorial and aesthetic qualities. But again, I don't know what you're trying to communicate. If you're trying to communicate anything. If you're trying to tell me, hey, this is an artwork that I really liked making and I feel like it's beautiful, that's good. But I don't know what to say about it. You're not saying it to the right person. This is a very highly stylized portrait, which I really like for its stylization and for its aesthetics. But you're never gonna guess what. I don't know what to fucking make of it. I'm not being challenged by this. I'm not being. A new way of looking at life is not being articulated here. If we look back at Alex de Rouen, right? And if we look at his pastiche of newspapers in front of his face, in front of the face of the person, the communication about indigenous rights and their community in Oklahoma, this made me learn something. They communicated something to me. I learned, I grew, I found new ways of understanding their experience. I got out of that experience and went, okay, cool. Is it the greatest artistic experience I had? Of course not. But it gave me something. Does this give me something? I can't say it does. And again, great. Like this is also very aesthetically pleasing. I don't know what the red means, if it has a meaning, but I don't know what to make of it. Same here. And I'll be the first to admit, sometimes I really like art solely for like what it looks like. Minus one fan from this review. It's gonna happen. But okay, the person did ask me to be critical. And that's my main criticism. But I think that's gonna be a main criticism for a lot of art that's being sent. Because I think a lot of people send art or make art because they think it looks cool, it looks nice, or because they feel like they can express their emotions through it. and expect me to care about something looking nice or about their emotions when I don't. I want to leave an artistic experience as someone with a different perspective, having been challenged, learning something, or going, instead of going, this person's really tormented, aren't they? Because it looks good, but if it's just a reflection of your like inner monologue, if you were my friend, if you're my brother, we're all brothers. But like if you were like someone close to me, I would go like, okay, I can really connect. But you're a stranger. And it's good that you're doing this. This is not bad. But I don't know why you would expect me to care. However evil that sounds. So again, this one's my favorite one. It's because I'm imagining, maybe I'm wrong in my imagining this, by imagining that there is a process behind of you criticizing the original artwork, and through that criticism and through that outlook that you have as someone suffering with depression and apathy, you have appropriated it. And through that action, there's a bit more of a process that I can connect with and that I can engage with. Because the rest, I don't know how to engage with it. Yeah, as Pyroanarchist says, what might have helped is if we knew a bit about their inner monologue to better understand these works. Yes. Yeah. I completely agree. This is why I encourage you, if you send your artworks, to really detail what you're looking for. They have detailed why they're making art, but they said, "Oh, I'm struggling with depression and apathy." On the previous stream, someone had detailed their process for each artwork, which was really, really appreciated. And it showed an intention, a will to engage with each artwork, and not just a will to make something nice and pretty and creepy and interesting. Because creepy art is really, really popular nowadays. We want some creepy pasta, right? But it's not what I'm looking for. I mean, creepy art can be good, but when it's intentional and when the intention goes beyond just being spooky and creeping you out. We can do a creepy art special for Halloween. I like the turkey. But see, like, that's the kind of like thing that's the D word, decorative. To me. I understand why like your parents go like, oh wow, and your friends and family like, because like you really are a good artist. Or at least like a good painter, drawer, whichever media you use for whichever artwork. Hey, look at that. Look at this guy. Look at this wacky guy. Lavian Jesus says, in some senses, I enjoy evoking the feeling of, I don't know what to do with this, but I want it to be evoked very strongly in me. There is a way to evoke, I don't know what to do with this, maybe in a strong way, as you're saying. But there's also, the feeling of I don't know what to do with this is one, there's like, I don't care. Like, what the fuck do you want me to do with this? It's not like, this is really working in me and I don't know what to feel about this. This trying to understand like how to connect can come from either really inter work or inter monologue or whatever, or it can come from like complete apathy, which is ironic because the person is saying they're struggling with apathy. Because I in a way struggled with my apathy towards their art. Thank you so much, Ben Law, for sending me your art. Very, very appreciated. I hope the criticism, at least from my end, was helpful. I don't know what the chat said. I hope the chat was helpful as well. Or maybe they were talking about anarchism at one point. But yeah, maybe some people who are more appreciative of like aesthetics and like and all that would appreciate the artwork a bit more than I do. But yeah, still, thank you for sending, and I hope you enjoyed my comments. All right, next artist. Hey, we got someone who sent 2 artworks. Let's look into that. So here we have Mads Jorgensen, who says, "Hey Sean, I saw you're doing reviews on art, and if you want to, I could say you don't want to hear the backstory, but it was the first time someone told me a guy was attacked with a machete and had 2 ideas for some art. Okay. Okay. I remember I copy pasted this. I didn't read it. I just copy pasted. I could say you don't want to hear the backstory. I do want to hear the backstory. That's like my whole shtick, my whole thing. But it was the first time someone told me a guy was attacked with a machete and I had 2 ideas for some art. Okay. So there's 2 artworks to review here, so this is going to be fast. It's this one and this one. Thank you for sending your art. But I do feel like this is horror art, which is fine, but it's not what I'm into. And again, I have a hard time engaging with this. I love how like I love the aesthetics, like I love the smokiness of it, but like that's the extent to which I can talk about this, because it's not speaking to me. Is this a decapitated head? Like I feel like what's carrying your art here is not your art in itself, but it's the gruesomeness of it, right? We're not liking, like when we see this, what we're liking is not your art. It's not how the artist did it, but it's just like, oh, it's the subject matter, but not in a good way. It's like when you laugh at a joke that's like a dark joke, the thing that you're laughing at is the discomfort that it brings you, but not the craftsmanship of the joke or the joke itself or the meaning of the joke. It's just the fact that it's dark. And I feel like here it's the machete thing. The only reason why this could be like actually interesting is because it's a dark subject matter. Yeah, Skillwatch says, oh, it could be so much more if we knew the backstory. It could. Maybe it wouldn't. Maybe it's just, again, a guy who got beheaded by a backstory. But like, if Mads was like, I was at a summer camp and this kid told me about the story about this machete guy, and then they go into the story, and maybe I could have a better connection to these artworks. And to if Mads told me about how this story really impacted them enough for them to like create an artwork out of it, maybe this would mean a bit more for me. But because it just sounds like, yeah, a guy was attacked with a machete, here are 2 paintings about it. The fuck you want me to say about this? Let's look at their Instagram. But again, another thing is we don't know much about them, and because we don't, then it's hard to know what they're trying to communicate. Oh, I've seen this before. I have shouted this out in a video before. This artwork right here, because I knew people would like this. The creepypasta art. I know people like this. People love this type of stuff. And it is like really, really nice. It looks so fucking cool. Does it mean anything? Probably not. But Jesus Christ, is cool. Creepypasta stuff. I'd like to know more. But since we don't have more, we can move on. Thank you so much for sending in your work about the machete guy. Machete art. Hi, my name is Sully Thrasher, born in 2003, and I'm a mixed media abstract expressionist artist from Windsor, Ontario, Canada, another Canadian artist. I use oil paint, stick and tube, charcoal, pastels, graphite or acrylic paint to build up thick textures and carve scratches into paintings and drawings. Cold wax medium, plaster, and pozzolana, volcano ash occasionally help to add impasto, treating paintings like sculptures. I've been painting consistently since 2021 and have completed 2 bachelor's degrees, honors in psychology with thesis, and Greek and Roman studies at the University of Windsor, 2026. Very cool. Congratulations. My work explores the distortion of human and animal forms through psychological, mythological, and ancient historical perspectives. I try to balance intention and accident in what the works want to become, and I am most influenced by artists such as Francis Bacon, Francisco Goya, and Pierre Paul Rubens. I have different relationships with with every work as iconography symbolizing experiences, emotional states, and creative momentum in my life. Instagram Thrasher Sully. Okay, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Again, when your artworks are so personal, and the only thing I know about you is that, you know, is your 2 bachelor's degrees, which is very cool, and the fact that you live in Windsor, it's a bit hard to tackle your art if they are so personal to you when I don't know you. But we can try, and we will try. You sent your art, so that's what you want me to do. You want me to try. Oh, look at this formatting. Okay, so we have ritual here. Ritual. This is self-portrait. Very Basquiat-esque. This conglomerate. Jaguar. Trajan's column study. Death of Sardanapalus. Flight. Pedimental. Pale, or grapple. Hercules slaying envy. Okay. Okay. I see something. Okay. So ritual. I don't have much to say about it. Self-portrait either. I think it looks really cool. Again, this is not like, this is a good artist. I see this and I'm like, okay, this artist is cool. This artist is good. I love the aesthetics and I love the work of this artist. But in terms of what it brings me, my understanding of it, I have little ways of appreciating this aside from it looks cool. And maybe that's what you want, right? Maybe you hear, I think it looks good and you're fine with this. But I'm not. As a viewer, as an art appreciator, I want more. This one is whatever for me. This is like maybe more like of a technical skill type of thing. Maybe someone in chat who knows technical skills could be more interested in this. But to me, I'm deeply uninterested. Is this a Western type thing? You have someone here with the hand and like the pants here. Maybe there should be a gun here, and then you have someone in the background here, but it's so abstracted that you can barely tell them apart. I don't know. Again, it looks good, and I would see this hung out, like hanging in like a really expensive apartment in New York or whatever. But that's not necessarily a compliment. Maybe a bit more decorative. Again, very cool. The Jaguar, I really like this aesthetically once again and stylistically. You have such a cool style and a visual language that is very, very appealing. This is probably the coolest Jaguar I've ever seen in my life. I just wish that you used this visual language, this talent, to say something, either about your experience or about something that you care about. And maybe you do care a lot about Jaguars, and maybe if I cared more about Jaguars, I would care more about this. And I was gonna say, maybe if you share with us your love for Jaguars, maybe I would be able to love this more. But at the same time, if you just like had this obsession over Jaguars and you tried to share with me, honestly, I probably wouldn't connect, but it would maybe help a little bit, right? You've developed a language that's so cool, but to what function is that language answering to, if that makes sense? Trajan column study. These work a little less for me. After de la Croix. Flight, again, very cool. It looks really cool. It looks so cool. But what is it? It's a great way of maybe exploring and of like honing in your visual language, your style, which you've honed in, obviously. You've done a great job. This looks so cool. And this would hit hard in like the 30s, 40s. But today, I feel like your average art viewer is looking for more than just something that looks cool. At least if you go in museums, galleries, maybe less galleries, like a lot of commercial galleries, they'll just do things that are decorative and look cool and they're fine with it. But if you go to museums, fine art museums, often what we're looking for is a narrative, something that underlines the intention behind an artwork. And because I don't know the intention, I can just assume that there is not much, right? And that it's just like the depiction of someone who is living a hard situation, someone who is sad or feeling bad. And maybe in a series of sadness and plight, and maybe you want to communicate something about plight and about sadness. But here, because it's alone and because there's not much to go to back it up as a context, yeah, as Marana says, yes, narrative and intention would really elevate their work. I think it would elevate a lot of people's works. And I think a lot of people don't necessarily have the narration, intention, the context behind, and they just do something like they just want to do something that looks cool, or that they think, oh, this I want to communicate this, but don't necessarily put into words. But yeah, because here we saw it. Because there is an intention here. The idea is to explore the distortion of human and animal forms through psychological, mythological, and ancient historical perspectives. Which I feel like you have something there, especially since you've studied Greek and Roman studies. I have different relationships with every work as iconography symbolizing experiences, emotional states, and creative momentum in my life. And as I said, because we don't know much about you, those experiences, emotional states, and creative momentum, we don't know how relevant they are to the stories you're trying to tell. And they could be extremely relevant. And if they are, as I expect them to be since they're depicted in your work, I'd like to know about them. But yeah, like it's a nice problem to have, because now because you have the language, you have a very strong style that you can now instrumentalize to tell stories that we can care about. Like this, I could see this as a series. I like the support twine stretched canvas. I can see this being a series on Greco-Roman fighting. Maybe that's what you want to share. But tell us about Greco-Roman fighting. Tell us, help us learn about it and kind of bring us into your world of this fighting. Why should we care about this? Why should we be into this? Because now because right now we're seeing it and we're like, okay, there's people fighting, and I guess it's cool because it looks really nice. But there's the idea that it's illustrating something. I want to know what it's illustrating and what it means to you as well as an artist and why you painted this. Hercules slaying envy. I don't hate it. Do I love it? I don't love it either. Back then, and I mean back then in all art history, people could create artworks of like Hercules like slaying the Hydra here. And all that mattered is that it looked good and that it did a good rendition of the story. But I feel like today that's not enough. It's been done. And you're doing it in a cool style, and maybe that's enough for you. It's not enough for me. Again, visually very cool. I would just like to know more about the meaning and intention behind these works. Thank you so much, Thrasher Sully. We can go look at their Instagram. I already like more the rendition of popular culture through your style. I don't care about FIFA. I don't care about Erling Braut Haaland. I think he became a meme. But in any case, I feel like just the fact that you're placing yourself within the cultural zeitgeist with your style is already more appealing to me. He became a meme and is a good football player. He's quirked up and also really good. Okay. So yeah, I was right. Thank you so much, Sully, or Thrasher Sully Thrasher, for sending me your art. Really, really, really good style. like incredible style. I'm very happy that you sent it. And perhaps a lot of my criticism would be unwarranted if we knew more about these works. Maybe there is something you want to say that we're not getting it from just like seeing it. And I think that's normal. If you also want your art to get reviewed and perhaps hated on, perhaps glazed, depends on if you send me your intentions correctly. Send your art either on Instagram. On my Instagram, it's the Canvas YouTube, I believe, or on Discord, on my Discord channel, which is right now pinned in the chat, but you can't see it, so it's in the description. It should be in the description. Sometimes the link doesn't work. So you can send on Instagram or on Discord if it works. All right, thank you so much. And I guess I'll say goodbye to the YouTube video. Goodbye, YouTube video. We're gonna continue on stream. You should catch the stream next time. Well, we're gonna continue on stream. All right, goodbye.